Attention Commanders Nation. Our defensive leaders are straight up imploding on the field. We're talking record-breaking suspensions and fines. But Adam Peters has an $18 million secret plan to bring in a young stud to anchor the secondary. Meanwhile, a forgotten running back is getting his golden shot to save the offense. This is exclusive. If you don't act today, you'll miss the strategy that could reshape our future. Are we risking it all or falling apart? Smash that subscribe button, hit the bell, and like this video to uncover the truth the NFL doesn't want you to see. I couldn't believe what I saw last Sunday. I mean it. After years of watching this team struggle, after entire seasons begging for veteran leadership to set the tone, turns out the guys we've got are worse than the rookies. And I'm saying this from the heart, because this hurts as a DMV fan who's been here since childhood. Darren Payne and Javon Kinlaw, two defensive tackles who are supposed to be the backbone of our line, were at the center of one of the most embarrassing moments I've ever seen in burgundy and gold. Second quarter, down 20-3 against Detroit, and instead of locking in on stopping Jahmyr Gibbs, guess what happens? Payne throws a punch at Amon-Ra St. Brown's helmet for nitrogen monoxide reason, and if that wasn't enough, Kinlaw jumps in, makes contact with a ref, and hands the Lions an extra 15 yards that led to a 2-point conversion. But wait, it gets worse. After the game, when reporters asked Kinlaw about the incident, you know what this guy who's making $15 million said? He started IT, like a 5-year-old on the playground. I gotta ask, is this the mindset we want from our defensive leaders? Is this the example we're setting for young guys like Johnny Newton and Jerzan Newton? And here's the part that's got me absolutely gutted. Payne, the longest tenured player on our defense, 8 years with the team, has been basically invisible since week 1. His last sack? Opening game? Week 1, folks. Since then? Nothing. Zero impact in the opponent's backfield. And when he finally shows up in the highlights, it's for throwing a dumb punch that got him suspended for the Miami game. So I ask, is this acceptable? Because to me, this screams of a much deeper issue in our team culture. When your vets, the ones who are supposed to keep it together in tough moments, are the ones losing control, what message are we sending? And don't let Frankie Louvu off the hook either. This guy was lucky to even suit up against Detroit. That hip drop tackle against Seattle in week 9 was sketchy. And when you've already got a rep in the league, you've got to be more careful, not less. Louvu is supposed to be the emotional heartbeat of this defense, the guy who keeps everyone locked in. Instead, he's racking up fines and risking his availability. Here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. We've got 3 of our so-called defensive leaders acting like the rules don't apply to them. Payne with 8 years in the building. Kinlaw with a fat contract. Louvu as our top linebacker. And none of them are setting the right example. And you know what's the most frustrating part? While they're out there losing their heads, we've got young players like Mike St. Risto and Quan Martin giving it their all every Sunday, staying composed, playing like pros. But the vets who should be guiding them are the ones creating chaos. This isn't just about one bad game. This is the result of years of toxic culture we still haven't fully cleaned out. Adam Peters and Dan Quinn have some TOUGH calls to make this offseason, because if these are our leaders, we're in serious trouble. Payne's suspension for the Mudrick game is just the beginning. Kinlaw should have been ejected on the spot, but the refs didn't want to toss 2 players on back-to-back plays. That's the only reason he's even eligible to play this Sunday. So now I'm asking you directly, Commanders fans, how much longer are we going to tolerate this kind of behavior? How many more losses do we need before there are real consequences for these vets who are failing as leaders? Because I'm telling you right now, if there's no accountability during a 5-game losing streak, when is it ever going to happen? SD. Brown might have baited them, but EK and EW, they take it. The Lions know us better than we know ourselves. And that, my friends, is the saddest part of all. If that shocked you. Wait till you hear this, because what's coming next might be the smartest or riskiest move Adam Peters makes in his first year as GM. Let's talk numbers, because in the NFL, the salary cap is everything, and Adam Peters is about to make an $18 million decision that could shape the future of our secondary. Jeremy Fowler from ESPN just dropped a bombshell with major implications for us. According to league sources, Alontae Taylor from the Saints is projected to be the top quarterback hitting free agency in 2026, and his expected price tag, $80 million per year. Now I know what you're thinking. $18 million? Are you nuts? We don't have that kind of money. But here's where it gets interesting, and where Adam Peters' genius might shine. Marshon Lattimore, the corner we picked up at the trade deadline, is going to be out for a long time with a torn ACL. And here's the part no one is talking about. If we cut him with 1 year left on his deal, there's zero dead money. None. We save $18.5 million. See where I'm going with this? We could basically swap Lattimore for Taylor without spending a single extra dollar on the cap. It's almost a one-for-one exchange, except we'd be trading a 31-year-old with injury history for a 25-year-old in his prime. This is exactly the kind of move Peters should be thinking about. And now I ask you, isn't this what we want from our GM? Smart, data-driven decisions that maximize our resources? Taylor's not a household name on national media, but if you follow the NFC South, you know this dude is legit. 6 feet tall, 199 pounds, can play outside or in the slot. The Saints tried to extend him before, but couldn't get it done, which made him a trade candidate at the deadline. The Bears and Colts were interested, but no one pulled the trigger. And you know what's most impressive about Taylor? His performance against Carolina in Week 10 was surgical, locked down in coverage, tough against the run, and when they sent him on a blitz, he looked like a heat-seeking missile. That's the kind of versatility we're desperate for on defense. So here's what I'm saying. While Jerry Jones is throwing obscene money at aging vets in Dallas, and the Eagles are scrambling to hold together a secondary that's cracking, we could be setting ourselves up with one of the youngest, most promising cornerback trios in the NFC. Picture this: Alontae Taylor on the outside, Mike Sainristil in the slot, and Trey Amos on the other boundary. Amos has flashed when healthy this year. Sainristil's been one of the few bright spots in this nightmare season. And Taylor will be the young vet who ties it all together. But here's the million-dollar question. Can we trust Adam Peters to structure the deal smartly? Because $18 million a year sounds like a lot, but in today's NFL, that's the going rate for top-tier corners. And if you build it right with signing bonuses, staggered guarantees, and an out after year 3, it suddenly doesn't look so scary. I think Peters is playing chess while other GMs are playing checkers. The Lattimore trade was risky, no doubt. But if it was part of a bigger plan to evaluate, reassess in the offseason, and pivot to a younger, healthier player, then I've got to give the man credit. And here's something Nitrogen Monoxide 1 is talking about. We're projected to have over $100 million in cap space next offseason if we make the right sacrifices. That means we can go after Taylor and still have room to fix the D-line, the edge rusher situation, and maybe even add offensive depth. The Saints are going to fight to keep Taylor, no doubt. But they're in cap hell, buried under bad contracts. We, on the other hand, have flexibility we haven't seen in years. So I ask you, would you rather spend $18 million on a rising 25-year-old corner, or keep that money tied up in a 31-year-old who might never be the same after an ACL tear? To me, the answer is obvious. And if Peters can pull this off, if he brings Taylor to Washington, suddenly our secondary goes from a massive liability to a potential strength. Especially if our next defensive coordinator, whoever that ends up being, can build a scheme that plays to these young guys' strengths. This is burgundy and gold thinking long term. And that's exactly what we need after years of short-term patchwork. And just when you thought we were done, let me tell you about the one piece of good news we've got this week. Something fans have been screaming about for months. Finally, someone on this coaching staff is saying what we've all been yelling since the start of the season. Cliff Kingsbury just confirmed what every Commanders fan in the DMV already knew. Chris Rodriguez Jr. deserves more touches. And I say this with all sincerity. This is the first time in weeks I've heard something from the coaching staff that makes me think someone's actually paying attention. While we've all been watching Jakery Krosky Merritt struggle week after week, averaging 2.7 yards per carry against Detroit, Chris Rod's been waiting patiently for his shot. Kingsbury came out this week and specifically praised Rodriguez's professionalism. He highlighted his ability to step in at any moment and produce, which has earned him massive respect in the locker room. And here's what's got me hyped. This isn't just talk. Rodriguez started the game against the Lions as our lead back. Now, he only got 6 carries before a shoulder issue sidelined him, and the team played it safe since the game was already out of reach. But the fact that he started over Krosky Merritt is huge. That tells me the staff is finally seeing what we've seen all year. Let me hit you with some numbers that'll surprise you. Rodriguez has had just 45 carries all season. 45. That's not enough for a NY back to find rhythm. You can't judge a runner off 5 or 6 touches a game, especially when they're spread out inconsistently. I believe Rodriguez has earned the right to get an extended run as our lead back. And now I ask you, isn't this exactly what we need? From our coaching staff, adaptability, recognizing talent, giving chances to the guys who earned it? Krosky Merritt had a meteoric rise, and no one's taking that away from him. But his production has dropped off hard in recent weeks. Against Detroit, he was completely ineffective. And that doesn't mean he's a bad player. It just means maybe he needs a breather, maybe a lighter load while he keeps developing. Rodriguez is in his 3rd year in the league. It's been a roller coaster, no doubt, but every time he gets a shot, he flashes. Power between the tackles, vision to find the crease, and that physical runner's mindset we desperately need, especially when Jaden Daniels isn't out there extending plays with his legs. And here's the part that's got me really optimistic. Rodriguez will be a restricted free agent after this season. That means the Commanders can keep him pretty easily if they want to. It won't be a tough negotiation. And if we give him these last 6 weeks to show what he can do with a full workload, we'll have valuable info heading into the offseason. So I ask you, wouldn't you rather see what we've got in Rodriguez before we go drafting or signing another back? Because I think the answer might already be on the roster. We just need to give him the chance. Kingsbury specifically said Rodriguez has earned the locker room's respect. And that, folks, is huge. On a team dealing with culture issues, with vets failing as leaders, having a young guy who does everything right, shows up ready to work, doesn't complain when he's not getting touches, that's exactly the kind of mindset we need to build around. Compare that to what's going on in the rest of the NFC East. The Cowboys are desperate for run production. The Giants have no clue what to do with their backfield. The Eagles are leaning entirely on their O-line to create space. And we might have the answer growing right here on our own roster. I think the next few weeks are going to be critical for Rodriguez. With the bye in Week 12, he's got time to get that shoulder right. And when we come back, he should be the guy in the backfield. Give him 15 to 20 touches a game, and let's see what happens. And you know what's the best part of all this? We finally have someone on the coaching staff willing to publicly acknowledge when a player has earned more opportunities. That's accountability moving in the right direction, not just downward. Demanding more from players, but upward too, recognizing when the staff needs to adjust. Rodriguez has never had a real extended run as the lead back in his 3 years here. That's not a knock on him. It's just how things have played out. But now, with the stars aligning, with Kingsbury giving him public praise, with Krosky Merritt needing a breather, all signs point to giving him that shot. I'll say this, if there's one positive we can take from this dumpster fire of a season, it's figuring out which young players deserve to be part of the future. Rodriguez has shown he's got the character, the professionalism, and the flashes of talent. Now, let's see if he can be consistent with a full workload. And here's my prediction. If Rodriguez gets that chance and runs with it, suddenly our running back situation for 2026 looks a lot clearer. And that's one less puzzle piece Adam Peters has to solve this offseason. So there you have it, Commanders Nation. 3 stories that perfectly sum up where we are as a franchise, a leadership crisis, massive financial decisions ahead, and finally a glimmer of hope in the darkness. Got the question for Payne and Kinlaw. It's simple. Are they going to step up and become the leaders this team needs, or keep being part of the problem? For Adam Peters, does he have the guts to make the smart move with Lattimore and Taylor? And for Chris Rodriguez, can he finally prove he deserves to be our back of the future? Now I'm asking you directly, what's the most urgent move this team needs to make? Cleaning house with the problematic vets? Locking down the future of our secondary? Or giving more chances to the young? Guys who've earned it? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear everything. If you think Payne and Kinlaw need harsher consequences, hit that LIKE button. If you think Peters should go after Taylor this offseason, subscribe to the channel. And if you believe Rodriguez should be our starting back the rest of the season, leave a comment telling me why. Because this is more than just a YouTube channel. This is a family of Commanders fans who bleed burgundy and gold, who suffer through the losses but will celebrate together when we rise again. And for that, I need all of you to be part of this community. Catch you in the next video with more analysis, more updates, and more truths no one else dares to say about our Washington Commanders. And remember, hail to the Redskins.